Well, it's time to build an airplane, and this is an aircraft that I really wanted to build for a while. I've had this kit for probably 2 years now, so I think it's time to go ahead and build it. And I like to do these little kit reviews so that you guys see what's in the kit before we get started. And you've already seen the thumbnail, so you know what it is. And one of my favorite aircraft of all time. This is the TAMIYA 1/48 scale Corsair, and this is the Vought F4U-1A Corsair. And if you know anything about Corsairs in the modeling community, then you know that probably TAMIYA has always been the real go-to for the actual Corsair kit to get. And I think it's going to be a really good build. So what we need to do is take a look at this. And first off, this is kit number 61070, as you can see right there. And not a great big box. However, really good box art here. If you wanted to cut this box top out and frame it, it would look really good on your wall. So let's jump down to the bench here and take a look at what we got. So the first release of this kit was in 1996, and this one is the 2000 release. And this particular kit was made in the Philippines. And just looking around the edge of the box right here, we got a nice side profile, top and bottom view, which really helps when you go to paint the aircraft. We have a nice differentiation here between all the different colors. So we got at least 3 different colors here on the fuselage and 2 on the underside of the aircraft. Very nice. If I can get you framed up here, there we go. This is the one end, and this is the Kit 70 in the aircraft series from TAMIYA. Flip it on around here. This aircraft does come with the ability to fold the wings. Very nice option there. We'll have to think about that when we go to build this aircraft. And the other box end is exactly the same. And we'll flip it over. Nothing on the bottom. I learned my lesson for not checking that. So let's take the top off and take a look. Show you how this has been packaged. TAMIYA likes to staple their protective bags here. So we have our fuselage sprue right here with our engine cowl and stuff there. That's in a separate sprue. Next bag, we have a 2 sprue set here. Looks like we got drop tanks and some crew members there. Very nice. We also have our clear sprues, which has been bagged separately. And it looks like 2 different canopies. And we have a nice large clear piece right there. We'll have to look in our instructions and see what that's all about. And next we have our wing sections with our flaps and then our inner wing details there. That's bagged separately there for us. We also have TAMIYA Tech Tips for those of you that are beginners in aircraft modeling or any modeling. As you can see here, they tell us how to cut parts off and removing excess plastic and drilling holes and all that wonderful stuff is on there. The back side, talk about test fitting. I love to test fit everything, even if it is a TAMIYA kit. Yeah, so painting instructions here, very nice. They even tell us how to use the rattle cans for spray painting. So next up, let's see, we have our decal sheet or decals and a protective film for those. We'll take a closer look at that. Now these are stapled as well, as you can see right there. And then we have our instructions. It looks to be fan fold type with some history and all of that. So let's break all this down and take a look at what Tamiya has for us in greater detail. So when it comes to our instructions here, we've got a nice graphic here of our, which actually a black and white photo of the built kit. Very nice. And then we have our history. I won't read all of this, but we have multiple languages here. And that is page 1. And then we flip it open. We do have our instructions here. Read before assembly. That's always a great idea to go ahead and read that. And we have our color callouts. There we go. Tells us the Tamiya paints that are available for use into achieving what Tamiya thinks the aircraft should look like. And we do have caution statements. So I'm not going to read it all for you guys, but if you want to, you can pause the video at any time and read it at your leisure. So real quick, we'll go through these instructions. So when we get to our actual sprues, we'll know what we're looking at. And as you can see here, we start off with the cockpit assembly. And that is pretty characteristic of most aircraft builds. We do have quite a lot of detail here, it looks like, for building up our cockpit. And we do have decals that need to be applied inside the cockpit area. Do follow your arrows when it comes to assembly, because it's not necessarily laid out in step 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like you put this together first, maybe, and then that, and then we put it all together. So something to pay attention to as we go through our instructions when you're building the actual kit there. So step 2 is our engine assembly, and it does look like we have a poly cap for our prop. Nice. And we also have an option here for whether or not our, what do you call these? These flaps, these cooling flaps here, either open or closed. If the aircraft is sitting on the runway, of course, they would be open. In flight, more than likely at altitude, you'd be closed. Step 3, as you can see here, we start the build-up of the wing root assembly here. And as I said before, you have to determine whether you want your wings folded or not. They do tell us remove for folded wings right there. If it's not folded, then you will leave that in place. So do read over your instructions. That way you know where you're at and what version that you're going to be building. Step 4, we have the insertion here of our cockpit area. We have this build-up that we need to do right behind the cockpit. So it'd be very, very important to check the fit of those. And then the assembly, and there will be painting on the interior, of course. And then attaching the wing root, along with the cowling and the engine, inserting the pilot, and then of course our horizontal stabilizers there. On to step 6, we have our wheel assemblies to build up and our tail wheel. We also have our flap assemblies. Now this can be assembled with the flaps up or down, I think. And then step 8, the attachment of flaps, and we also have our landing gear, and then of course all those doors that cover that up. Nicely laid out. So on to step 9, we have the folded sections of the wings. not much to look at there, but very important. I think somewhere, yeah, remove for folded wings. So they're going to tell you about those items that need to be removed if you want your wings folded. If not, you'll leave those in place. That way the wings are mounted nice and flush with the wing root. We also have our bombs and our drop tanks here in step 10. Moving on to 11, the hard points for our bomb, or that's for a center bomb. This was the one of the drop tanks. The prop, of course, with decals that need, or decals that need to be put on there. And then, of course, we've got our canopies. Attaching the canopy, this looks like our gun sight and our heads-up display. One of our figures there. They are telling us either, something about remove, install and remove. So we need to look into that, what we're going to do there. Step 13, of course, is the attachment of the folded portions of the wings, whether if you are in the flight position, extended, or ready for takeoff. And then, of course, in the folded position. So this aircraft might look really good if we wanted to display it with folded wings. And then 8, 9, yep. And then we have our call out here for all of our decal placement and, of course, the color scheme on our actual Corsair. And that is, and another page here. So that was 9, 10 for our second option here for decals. And that's it. So that was just a quick going over of our instructions. Looks pretty comprehensive. Next up, we have our decal or decal sheet. Now, I'm not going to remove the paper from it. We'll just fold that down out of the way so we can take a look at these. And we do have the either the red outlined or the blue outlined decals, depending upon which one of the versions that you would like to build. Now, Tamiya does have these decal harnesses, all right, for the cockpit. And then we have our instrument cluster. We also have the walk areas for the wings. And lots of little ones, lift here and so on and so forth. Different decals for bombing runs and enemy aircraft shot down and so on. And these are pretty typical of the Tamiya decals that you guys all know and love. They are a little thick, so, but they seem to be of really good quality. And I don't see any spots or bad prints or anything on these, so they nothing missing, nothing to touch up or to camouflage later. So pretty simple and straightforward. So this is going to be sprue A, and obviously the first thing that we need to look at is going to be our fuselage, which you can see here. Really nice detail. We have recessed panel lines and rivet detail. Really well done. They look so good. They really do. Beautiful work there. One of our horizontal stabilizers here. As you can see, nicely done. We have the rivets up close there. control mechanisms. We do have the, it's not textured, but it is recessed there for our flaps. See there? Very nice. And here we have those cooling flaps there for our cowling. These are the extended open ones, and then we have the closed ones as well. I don't want to twist that too much. Wheel detail. Now these wheels are keyed, as you can see there. So they don't turn, they don't roll. And our engine detail, we can see our push rods there. Very nice. Wonderful fine cooling fin detail there. We have our prop. I'm just seeing some seam where our mold seams are, but no flash, so that's good. Here's the underside of the opposite horizontal stabilizer there. You can see that we have all of these little plates on the bottom side. Nicely done. Well made. Very well made. Into the cockpit area detail, you can see we've got a lot of little controls there. There's actually an oxygen bottle right there. Nicely molded. This is for our tail wheel. These are the doors that cover that. For the front of the engine, we have our twin magnetos there. Bolt detail around the center section. Very nice. These are for our wheels. Really well done. And then we have some tail wheels here, and there's two of them. Items number 3 and 4. I don't know what the difference is between them. Interesting. So let's see what's going on here. We have our engine cowling, and we also have something, I think this is, here we go. Take that engine cowling out there. There we go. So this is the forward portion of our cockpit with all of our instruments on it. And the forward bulkhead or wall there. Nicely done. Looks really good. As you can see, these controls do protrude quite a bit. Really helps in the painting. So let's flip it over and look. We do have some structural elements here inside the fuselage, as you can see there. And then back at our tail wheel section. Same thing, opposite side. And this is the section rear of the engine with the exhaust. Is that exhaust or intake? I think it's exhaust. It might be intake. So we have lots of really, really good detail here. These are for the folded wings, I think, and you can see that they've even gone in and put in the rivet details on that mechanism there as well. Nicely done. That's sprue A, and that's our cowling right there. We do have one big sprue attachment there, but that's it. And you can see the folded line there. Really nice looking. I can see why everybody really likes these kits when it comes to the Corsair. Little bit of a mold seam inside the cowling there to be taken care of, but that's no big deal. That'll disappear quickly. All right, so that is sprue A. Very nice. Very nicely done. Next up, we have, I want to get it oriented here. There we go. Sprue B. And this is the wing root section. Of course, it has the openings for our landing gears. Here you can also see those vents there for the engine oil coolers and intake, well, not intakes, but engine oil coolers for sure. And these are the underside of the wings. Nicely done. Wonderful, wonderful detail there, if you can see it. Slightly recessed there. We have recessed panel lines all throughout. Wonderfully done. For a kit that came out in '96, it looks really, really good. Then we get in over here for our the center wing detail, where whether we're going to have the wings folded or not. See here we have some mechanism. Nicely detailed. And then of course we have our flaps. So there's several sections to these flaps, as you can see. And then depending upon whether we want them with the flaps down or in the up position for flight, some of these items may have to be trimmed off. Nice structural element there. Very well done. Upper surfaces here for our wings. So these go over the wing roots, of course. And then we have the folded section of the wing. And we have all of our little access panels there, you can see. Really, really, really well done. And then the opposite side there, left wing. And then for our undercarriage, we have all of our doors that enclose the landing gears. Flip it over real quick, and you can see all that structural detail there for the insides of our wheel bay doors. I don't see any ejector pin marks on those. That's a good thing. I hate having to clean that up on something like this if you're going to display it with these with the landing gear down, which most people do. You don't want to have to do a lot of cleanup on those doors, so that's really nicely done. Now we do have on our wing root here, you can see we do have some ejector pins there. They are proud of the surface, which means we just need to trim and sand those down. That's much better than having them countersunk, which you'd have to fill. In this case, though, we can sand and scrape those down. Nicely done there. Now, I don't know if any of this is, I don't think any of this is going to be seen, but up here towards the, or I should say aft of the wing root, we got our cockpit area that's going to sit here. And there is a large window there for the pilot. And I believe that's for the pilot to actually help him spot the deck, because this was originally designed as a carrier aircraft, which the British perfected carrier landings. It wasn't the Americans that did that. So anyway, that's sprue B, and it looks really good. Really nice detail there. So, sprue C, we have our pilot figure. Well, he's nothing really to write home about, but there is enough of him there to paint. We do have our bomb and our center fuel drop tank. And then we have this bulkhead here where the actual pilot seat would be mounted. And this lacks somewhat of a, the kind of detail that you would expect. This right here is the hard point for a center slung bomb. Not much there to look at. But maybe on the real ones it wasn't a lot. And then there is this pod here that you can put on the wing. But I don't think our version during World War II had this. I don't know. We'll have to go back and look and see when we get ready to build it. Here are our rudder pedals. Got really, really light rivet detail there. Our stick control here. And this is the section that goes on right behind the cockpit for the upper fuselage. Yeah. Of course, the back of our our pilot, he doesn't have anything there, so. Okay, so that's sprue C. Really nice details, though. And sprue E, we have a different style of that section that goes in behind the cockpit. This one doesn't have the cutouts. And a different style rear bulkhead section where the pilot seat is mounted. Another set of rudder pedals, but they look the same as the ones that was on the other sprue. And then various other little small parts. We have a pilot getting ready to get into the cockpit. And he has his full gear. That's nice. And we have a larger tank section here. So there's obviously an earlier and a later version here in the kit. I don't know what these are, but we'll find out when we get ready to build it, as we build it. This is a better looking figure than the seated pilot. I will say that. He does look much better. So that is sprue E. Nicely done. Next up is sprue F, which has our clear parts. Now these clear parts look really, really good. I don't see... see there with my finger up in it. I can see my fingerprints, no problem. Nice and clear. Now you are to expect just a little bit of distortion because of the way it has been made. There is just a little bit of distortion in the windscreen, in the curved areas there. So, but that's okay. And we have our gun sight, and I think this is the heads-up display, and then a clear lens for one of our lights on our wing, right there. Not super stellar clear parts, but not as bad as what we have seen in the past, so they'll definitely get the job done, I think, especially in 1/48 scale. I don't think it's a great big issue. Now, when you move up in 132 or 1/35, then that becomes somewhat of an issue. Nice clear parts. And we do have this little bag here of our, they have 2 poly caps in there for us. I don't know what they both go to, or if they just have an extra one. I know supposedly we use 1 poly cap as we looked through our instructions. That goes for our propeller, for our prop. But I don't know that we need 2, but I guess we'll find out when we get to building it. All right, so this really looks like it's going to be a really nice kit to put together. I really like the detail. Of course, now when it comes to aftermarket parts, I think that there is a resin engine that's available for it, but not much else. I didn't see any photo etch or anything like that for it. But the detail is nice enough. I really don't think that you really need to go to that kind of expense on a 1/48 scale kit, especially this type of fighter. But nice kit. I'm looking forward to building it. Special thanks to all of my subscribers. It's because of you guys that I keep making these videos, and I hope that you enjoyed this one. And if you're new to the channel and not a subscriber, I hope today I earned your subscription, so that would be good. If you liked the video, please don't forget to give a like. So guys, we're going to build this one next. So until next time, you guys stay safe.